Yes, I'm live. It's courage and to say it to my courage, say it to my face. I swear, I love this CD. I don't know who in the world did not promote this woman. I don't know if she's white, black, whatever race she is, but they should have promoted this CD way better than what they did. It is excellent. And I am, very about the music I listen to, so you're not hearing me listen to mumble rap and crap or any of this other mess where they're trying to make men seem like they're overly effeminate, you know, and they're not necessarily stating whether they're gay or bisexual to, you know, um, confuse men, which I am totally against. So anyway, more on that topic later, and that is some of I want to talk about because the situation is dire here, where we're having a crisis with black men being manipulated, um, and I do agree that they are being manipulated, being in some sense of the word used, and then by default, explicitly, hush, babe. This is my son with autism. For those of you who already know me, and Facebook and Instagram, you know me, but to all my new followers, Twitter, hi, how are you? My name is Alicia. You all know me as Scholar Mama for years and years as Alicia, Leisha, Lily, a little bit, whatever you want to call me, depends on how urban you want to get with it, but most people just call me Alicia. So anyway, that's my son Shitador. He has autism. He's in a bag blasting Rascal Flats, driving me nuts. But that's what 12-year-olds with autism. So anyway, I was kind of out today taking my, and I thought, well, I have something to say on the little Instagram thing. And I was driving, and that's not the safest thing in the world to do, and I don't do that. So let me go ahead, try this go live thing. This is actually so that I can kind of let people know what I'm. People pretend that you're thinking things that you're not thinking, and have your own voice and tell people what you're thinking. As far as I'm concerned, I will tell you. The first thing that's concerning me, obviously, is not only the violence towards the women that are hashtag Twitter. You saw the videos that I liked and that I posted about these women and how they were disappearing. And of course, one went to jail, one disappeared, and the other one was killed. And the reoccurrence of this happening with black women is so belligerent right now in people's face. I mean, it's just like there. And people are ignoring it because they typically ignore black women anyway. And not only black women, but indigenous women. So it's something where it's inherent within the psyche to think that black women are strong, you know, and it doesn't warrant attention because, not only is our value deflated, but we're treated as if we don't have a voice. And that's so concerning to me because not only as a black woman, but also as a single black mother, it is, I mean, disturbing to me to think that I have children that will also go through this unless we end it now. Is the appropriation of other cultures into to black cultures who don't the value systems of black women. Now, I want to say I did with the LGBTQI comment a minute ago. I am not talking about I'm disrespecting LGBTQI communities because we all know that I'm well educated, okay, in the cultural psychology of you know sexism, racism, and so forth. Okay, that's what I do. That's what my education is in. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that these young men are insecure about their sexuality and they're using women, once again, just like in the 80s, as sort of a crutch to, I don't know what the word is I'm thinking of, to be disillusioned about the fact that it's going to ease their tension, um, within the white male communities. Because whenever white males, because they are at the top of the hierarchy, whether you believe in the hierarchy of oppression or not, whether you're Audre Lorde, whether you're anyone else, okay. And the reason she said that was because she was so fed up with the racism. She said, okay, we're prejudiced against one another. And I'm quite sure she experienced even gay women being prejudiced against other, um, or gay black women being prejudiced against other gay black women. That happens because prejudice is the basis of racism. And that's where psychology comes in. And that's one of the reasons why I studied psychology and got a degree in it, because it's important in the black community. Sociology is important in the black community. As some people say those degrees don't mesh, but they do for black communities. They do. There are different points of view, but they are both necessary for you to understand. They do have a climax or an intersection. Okay. And those who are against intersectionality, who believe it's just about race, or excuse me, not about race, just about women's gender, you're wrong as well. And that includes the black activists in the African American community. You're absolutely incorrect. When Kimberly Crenshaw created intersectionality, she created it because of the deficit that Black women face when they go to court, such as Anita Hill, when people did not believe that a Black woman could be sexually harassed, and basically told her, you're going to pick one or the other. You can't pick racism, not just because Clarence Thomas was Black, and he is inherently racist. He's a Black racist. But the thing is, it was racist and it was sexual harassment. Now, for Black women, and this is the same to this day, if we file sexual harassment charges, because I had to do this against one of my employers when I was working in an office back in Virginia, okay, and they're sexually harassing you. If you go in to file charges, they'll say you have to pick one or the other. Now, I know you've heard about the new law that's saying they're trying to do away with the time frame of you having to go through counseling and mediation with your employer. That's one of the reasons why. If you're getting traumatized, they're going to try to talk you out of it. They're going to totally ignore your point of view. You're crazy. This isn't racist. This isn't sexist. You're not really going through this. This isn't really happening. I am not above saying that a woman could get sexually assaulted in the same house with a person of non-color and they would deny it. I'm not above saying that people who are denial in the Black community would see it and cover it up because they would feel ashamed and they're in denial. And they've been in denial for a very long time. And that's what's frustrating me about this young boy situation. It's well known that they are pimping out, and yes, I did say pimping out because that's the truth. These young males, they're pimping them out and they are emasculating them. Now, some had fathers and some didn't. It has nothing to do with fathers being in the home, dear. Nothing. Because many of these men are in jail that were their fathers. So please stop that. Please stop the single mother shaming. Please stop the disillusion of fact. Trying to pretend as if a parent by themselves, especially a woman, and it's primarily because she is a woman, should be ashamed of being a single person. That's just not happening anymore. We're at maybe even higher, but last time I checked, and this was last year, 75% of the Black community others. And as far as I'm concerned, just about the same percentage is not married, period. We only have 20 to 25% of the Black community that's actually married. And I don't know how many people actually know that. Now, I'm not trying to give a falsehood about marriage or say that marriage is bad. It isn't. If you find someone that is for you and you are in love, it is a union. It is between two folks. You care for one another. Inherently, that's what a lifelong dream is for, a number of people. But if you're pretending that you're in a relationship just so you can sit down here and post pictures on Instagram and on Facebook and follow each other around to silly functions and you follow your man to every game in the world and y'all not just, booed up. You're doing it because you feel like it's your obligation. You're trying to be in a wives club. Who in the world would want to be in the real housewives of anything? That's such a put down. That's so dumb for you saying like being a housewife. Who the heck would want to be a housewife? I mean, if that's your function, you're with your mate and you guys have decided amongst yourself that's what you want to do, great. Because I mean, I don't feel like women should do all the work, and I don't feel like if you're in a relationship and your partner says you don't have to do it, screw it. That's between you and he. But if you want to sit down here and tell me that that's some type of glorification because you gave them white privilege, white male patriarchal privilege that's attached to marriage, and generally, and I don't care what you think, extends to only white couples. Because you're BSing yourself if you're thinking that it's some type of extension that's going to be given to you. You're just pretending. You don't have any power. They're basically just using you. They're stringing you along. And you can, believe what you want. Oh, we have all this money. We have all this so-called, malleable privilege. Malleable meaning it can be changed at any moment, bent and twisted to whatever situation that they choose to put you in. And we all know this. And I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I'm not demonizing married people as you've demonized single parenthood. I'm telling you that white privilege right now, as they've done in the past, is exploiting that function because they feel like that's an insecurity that you have. And I know the insecurities. I know psychology. I can read it left and right. I know it backwards and forwards. You can't treat single black women like men. You can't treat single black mothers like single black fathers. We're not. You can't treat single women like white men. That's the dumbest thing without privilege, because all of these things are basically to help alleviate the masculinity that black men are feeling, just like in the 80s. I don't know how many of you saw that 80s movie where the man was beating up on his wife because, and I thought that was such a good movie. It was cheesy. His kids became drug dealers, went out there, or were robbing people, trying to make money, and they were married, and she was walking around with black eyes and stuff because he was beating up on him, and they're talking about the white man making mad and getting drunk all the time, crazy stuff. But in reality, it was just basically the director trying to say black men have been emasculated by white male supremacy, and they're taking out on black women, which in the 80s probably happened a lot. Now, I don't go personal too much, but I didn't grow up with my father because he used to abuse my mother, and she, still has bruises physically on her face today. She has a dent on her, I don't know if it's on left or right side of her forehead where he hit her with a hammer. These are not easy things for black women to deal with. I'm not saying that we have a coping mechanism. If I can survive poverty, growing up without a father who was in jail and a mother who wasn't really the nicest person in the world, trust me, and having to be on my own since I was 18 and raise 2 children by myself, you need to toughen up. And I'm not talking about man up. I don't believe in any of that stuff. There is nothing attached to your manhood here. The only thing that's attached is the fact that you need to understand violence will not prove anything. Your violence towards women proves that they've won. This is a game. You're playing, literally checkers, and they are playing chess. You've got to smarten up, you've got to lighten up, and you've got to grow up. Because this ain't easy. And there's no sociological lecture I can give you. There's no psychological help I can give you. I'm just going to tell you that. And this goes to white males and males of other cultures as well. Don't start I can never say this word, fetishizing African American, Native American women, especially not Asian women. Don't do that. When I talk about this being 1980, I am dead damn serious. And I am only 44 years old. And I don't even hardly remember 1980 because I was like 6 freaking years old. But I can tell you, I saw the remnants of it. All the crackheads walking around. The area I'm in here in North Carolina, it looks like damn 1985. It's pathetic. Babe! People do not change. And this is a very, very good example. They don't change unless you make them change. And you're going to keep going through the same cycle, and I wish someone would say something. I'm saying something. It is ridiculous. And the fact that when I see black women who internalize sexism at this day and age, who also respect, because I am not giving us a pass. We have some very immature black women out there, and they feel empowered, or they get attention, or whatever. I don't have a jealousy gene, so I don't know what causes it. They're just as guilty as anyone else. It's time for it to end. You're supposed to be elevating yourself not only to another level, but you're supposed to be the chosen ones to get to the next dimension if you want to take it to the spiritual level. You're supposed to be the smart ones. I might as well go to tell you. I don't know if you want to call yourself the gods, but you're supposed to be the ones, the black and indigenous people. That's why they attacked you. It's common sense. But you're not acting like what you should be. You're acting like idiots. And you can take it to the kingship and all this patriarchal nonsense, knock yourself out. That's not what it's about. You need to respect women, and women need to respect you. You need to stop falling victim to patriarchy. It is the same trap over and over again. I really sincerely hate for my daughter to have to go through this because I'm not going to know what to tell her. She is 24 and about to graduate college, and I'm sitting here like, what do I tell you if you get sexually assaulted? Oh my goodness. Like I have been. And I never thought in my lifetime, because men where I came from at least had enough pride in themselves to understand we do not have violence towards black women. It is the worst thing in this world that you could ever have. They may not have a lot of respect. They may not have, a lot of intellectual capacity, or maybe not a lot of money. It depends on who you are. For us from the area we're from, they have money, some of them, and some of them don't. We don't treat people differently. Shut the door. We don't do that because we know the intellectual level does not have a price tag on it. However, as I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking about the violence escalating, you're thinking, I was watching a video yesterday that said Me Too was a sham or it was a psyop or something. You know what? When it started, before white women noticed, just as it always does with African American activism and intersectionality, the same thing happened where the women's movement kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Drowned what the original intention of intersectionality is. That's why people, to this day think, oh, well, it's about something about women's issues. Women's issues are interfering with black issues. That's bull. Black women, they're one and the same, and I don't care who you are. I don't care who you believe yourself to be. You're going to find out one day. You're going to go to work, and you're going to be nothing but a nappy-headed black chick. They're going to tell you to put on a chick package. They're going to tell you, they're going to tell you to go out with somebody. They're going to treat you like, okay, we're going out with the guys. Ha, ha, ha. You have to go. And you're going to go, and they're going to get drunk and act crazy at happy hour. And then as soon as you pick up, you're going to be the hoe of the office, and you ain't slept with nobody. You don't even have to go to happy hour. And a week later, it's going to be rumored that you were there, drunk, up on the boss. And they want nothing but a group of other women, and maybe some of them white. Because I'm going to tell you how this shit works. Hush! Sexual harassment does not end with black activism. It begins there. At least the fighting against it. And you've got to say to yourself, intersectionality is you too. And you've got to fight for intersectionality to be what it should have been when Kimberly Crenshaw created it. A legal precedent where black women can be sexually harassed, can be assaulted, can be raped, and have acknowledgement of it. They ignore when black women are raped. Ignore it. I am not lying, like throw it in the trash if you go file a report. You tell somebody and they're legally supposed to call the police if you're the doctor, and they ignore it. They call the police on you. You think this is a joke. It's not. Your behinds are in danger. And I'll say, that's why I'm saying, from my point of view, from where I'm at, the men at least kept their hands to themselves, because we did the majority of the work in the black community as women. We held it down. We still do. And then you can come and bother me for what? That's akin to my son breaking in here, beating me over the head, robbing me, and then let his friend come in here and rape me. You know what I'm saying? For what? Now, I know that gang violence is bad, but I also know that police violence is bad. I also know that white supremacy is escalating. One thing that escalates white supremacy, and this is textbook, this is not racist, is immigration. Always has, always will, because white males feel threatened. That doesn't mean I support immigration, because we do have to have a limit of how many people, no matter where we live, no matter whose country we're in. They're all basically going through the same struggle with immigration. We all have to have some sort of boundaries. But the thing is, they feel threatened. Whenever they feel threatened, they're going to find a way to threaten someone else. And yes, they are threatening these young black males, but these young black males aren't saying anything. They're covering up with money, false fame. They even threw some Hispanic people in there to try to make it look good. These things are fake. I mean, there's just no way of explaining it to you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be, vicious, because I'm not. I'm the nice person here. But these things are fake. They're falsehoods. Okay? They're trying to give you a false sense of unity because you're in danger. Anytime anybody's bothering me, I'm going to tell you you're in danger. Because anytime they've stepped over that boundary and said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and use violence against a black woman who isn't bothering me because I feel threatened by her, and they feel like there's no consequences, you're in danger. Okay, use me as that sort of litmus paper. And I'm going to tell you why. Everyone has known my whole life that I don't put up with BS. I grew up with only women. Like I said, I raised myself. I didn't depend on a man for anything. So if a man came to me and said, hey, I'm mad at you because you broke up with me or something, I'd say, hey, so and so, it's over. Shut the door. Sorry. Can you shut your door for me? Shut your bedroom door. Can you shut your be loud? Thank you. Seriously, shut the door. He's not going to shut the door. Okay, so what happened in the 80s was these men, because we had a number of serial killers and serial rapists in Virginia. Those of you who think Virginia is West Virginia, don't be stupid. Obviously, I'm not talking to those on Facebook. I'm coming back there if you don't shut the door. You know, uh, those of you who think Virginia is all country because we haven't got rid of all those country bumpkins, wrong again. Okay? Virginia is between DC and North Carolina, and it has boundaries that basically extend all cultures, and we have a number of different people over the years that have basically almost gotten rid of most of that country element that was there before. That plus the fact that people got tired of racism. It still exists, but it's I would say at this point, less than it was before. It's still expensive. As you know, from the Amazon headquarters moving to Arlington, is probably one of the most expensive areas in the country, along with where I was in California a few years ago. So this stuff don't get done cheap. But the point is, when you're like 44 and you've seen all this before and it's happening again, and you have children, and you can see that these people feel threatened, it concerns you because you can see the whole cycle repeating itself. Okay, I'm not in denial about the hierarchy of oppression for those of you who have a sociological background. I'm not Audre Lorde. I do respect her. I don't know if some of you may be TQI or something. I don't know. Because I mean, sometimes I wonder what people think, but I don't have Du Boisian double consciousness. I don't, like Du Bois, I don't sit around and think, well, what is this person thinking about me? When I go to the store, are they thinking I'm stealing? But when you're in a low IQ area, for obvious reasons, you might have to leave your bag in a car, or you might have to take provisions of surveillance because these people are dangerous. And that's what's going on with the police department. Um, Many black women are starting to self-surveil, and starting to feel self-conscious, and not only in a natural way, but in an unnatural way. I mean, when you surveil and you use surveillance against yourself, oh, my hair looks good, my nails are good, my makeup's on. Okay, that's about normal. If you go somewhere, you wonder if you can't carry a purse because someone's going to think you're stealing. If you think because you're a single parent, you're going to be assaulted, indigenous, or light skin, or short, round, fat, whatever, not married, and pretty, whatever threatens someone, you know, that's something that's abnormal. It's abnormal for someone to think that it's okay to in any way use violence, whether it be superimposed violence. And where we come from, we have laws that basically were put in place in the 90s for facilitation of crimes, specifically rape. Facilitation of rape is a crime too, where we come from. And I think that's what stopped a lot of this stuff, because people use common sense. If you're spreading around a rumor about someone and putting her name on billboards for her, call her for a good time, putting it in the bathroom, you know what I'm saying? And then pretending like when that person gets sexually assaulted, and you're saying, break into her house, she lives at so and so address, but I didn't do it. I didn't harass her address and say that she was easy. That is a crime. That's a felony, just like rape. And I think it's important for people to understand that. If people use common sense, it will end a lot of the silliness that we're going through right now. And that's why I say I'm trying to really get myself together so I can get my blog together, and maybe start doing a bit of vlogging so that it will make more sense. But whenever, nice looking women speak, whenever black women speak, whenever, we open our mouths, people try to pretend like we're doing things to get attention. You know what, sister? I'm on my way back there. I said hush. Shut the door. Thank you. Sorry, because I don't get much time to myself at all. So this goes on all week long. If I'm lucky, if maybe when my son's in school, I will get some time to work, and I'll get some time to sit down for 5 minutes. But yeah, it is delusional for you to think that you are not being emasculated as black men by white men. It's delusional for you to think that my wash machine is going on. That's my dryer, so I just can't get this vlogged up. Anyway, thank you, Samsung. Just leave it. Shut the door. Okay. So basically, thank goodness for Japanese technology, right? Absolutely love them. So anyway, the thing is, when we're out there posting pictures about our real couple about boot up, and if you're in love, absolutely wonderful, you found that soulmate, or so you believe so, and that's great because they're hard to find. I want you to understand, you know, take black women seriously. Don't instigate between colors. Don't do Black Panther colorism. I also posted, for those of you who don't follow Twitter, the situation where a Black Panther is the same as a spotted jaguar. For those of you who understand Belize, who understand where the jaguar comes from, that was stupid. I mean, literally the most stupid thing they could have done in that movie was highlight colorism. Anyone who uses racism or instigates racism under the guise of black unity is lying. We learned that many years ago. Anyone, for any reason, it's a lie. You can call it a psyop, you can call it Freemasonry, you can call it whatever you want, but it's a lie. And that tells you it's a lie. You look right at a Black Panther and it's the same as a jaguar, a spotted jaguar, but you're going to use that concept for colorism. Use common sense. That was stupid. Okay. Now you can go and talk about how good the movie was and all the hype and all this and all of that. It's stupid. I didn't even see it because it was just like, as soon as you said colorism, I'm like, really? Really? These people are master con artists. They get paid, they don't care, they participate, they move on. Whether they're Freemasons and they're, involved in that whole secret society stuff, knock themselves out. I mean, a guy almost hit me the other day with a Freemason thing on his license plate. And I'm just like, and it was this black country dude. So if you think it's just white people participating, well, you're wrong about that. Half the societies here that are actually the organizations for, Alpha Phi, this and that, are Freemasons. So, and those are the Eastern Stars that come from Georgia, because there's a lot of people from Georgia in this area. So, whatever, to each his own. Reality is, I think that we're in denial. We believe that the Black family is coexisting with white families as far as patriarchy and power and privilege. You think money equals power for the Black community. And I'm here to tell you, it does not. You think you're to the point where you can be disrespectful towards other Black people, and that's going to be acceptable, and it's not for any reason whatsoever. Don't play between the lines. Don't say you don't like Asian people, you don't like Native people, you minority, that minority. I may not like a certain type of minority, but you don't hear me going around voicing my opinion about it. I think it's easy to manipulate African American people when they have low levels of education. When people put up fronts, it's very easy to see through them. When you perceive yourself as having more confidence because you perhaps were given more things that made you feel comfortable, patriarchy made you feel comfortable, money made you feel comfortable, don't be silly. You're transparent. If you're happy with your family, you're happy. But don't use other people as crutches, and don't demonize those who know way better than you. It's like, someone in kindergarten telling someone in high school what to do, or someone in college what to do, because you're married, or because someone with money and power said colorism was cool again. And a light skinned person is going to apologize to a dark skinned person because of the oppression instead of them speaking directly to white supremacy for that. Really? Really? And single people are going to feel guilty about not being married because the oppression of women doesn't exist, and Black men aren't in jail, and Black men don't have any flaws, don't have any accountability. None. No, honey, I'm not Barack Obama, but I can read a sociology textbook just like he has in the past, just as millions of people have. And for those of you who have not, I suggest you read one or two. That's all you need to look up Black men in one or two textbooks, and underneath their name is going to say accountability. This is not to demonize them. This is to make this perfectly clear. Because it's not clear for some reason, and I don't understand why it's not. Why isn't it? To appear to be rude or mean, or as my son says, because he can't say respectable. He's so cute. We don't have envy towards other Black women. We have a unified Black community. With any type of instigation, please stop trying to instigate. And those people who are, or as whatever you want to call yourselves, instigators, I call you demonic, and that's a actual compliment to call you that. Yeah, because you better be lucky. That's what I'm calling you. Because I got some worse names for you. You who choose to participate in that type of behavior, who have internalized depression, that's up to you. But please understand me. Please do not have a voice for me. Don't pretend to be me. Don't lie on me. Don't put me in a position in your mind where I'm someone who's weak minded because you're doing things behind my back, or you're pretending, or you're expecting for me to internalize like I have Du Boisian double consciousness. I don't. And specifically, I sound like my son, I specifically do not. We don't internalize whiteness. And we don't internalize whiteness through the avenue of Hispanic people who internalize it, or Asian people who internalize it, or any freaking one else. I'm aware of when I go to different places. I don't know if you understand this or not, because I've been, all over the country, and I've been in different parts of the world. People perceive what you look at as what you are. And you might have a nice body, and I'm not saying whether I do or not, but let's just say it's okay. They perceive you as being an airhead, People might have wild hair, especially in country areas like I'm here in North Carolina around these people, places like this. Oh, she's wild. We're scared of that, because this is 1985 for them. Oh, she must be wild. I mean, this hair right here on my head, this ponytail, this is intimidating. Really, really. And the subsequent stupidity of, and this is something, like I say, the 80s was like, you can't be too pretty and you can't be too ugly either. You go outside without your makeup on, because I only wear like vegetarian makeup, right? So rarely I'm not wearing makeup. I might wear a little lipstick, a little mascara, maybe a little bit of concealer sometimes. But it always has to be like Physicians Formula or something, because I don't put a lot of things on my skin, or vegetarian is some type of makeup. But the thing is, if I go out and I'm looking like I am today, I think I look pretty balanced, really, because I'm tired, but I look pretty normal. But if I throw a hat on or whatever, because I'm just like, whatever, I'm in the middle of nowhere, who cares? Then, oh, look at looks today. You can't ever win. And it's not really the way you look, it's how you look. You know what I mean? You're always intimidating. Remember those days, guys, who are on Facebook where you intimidated people? Everything you did was intimidating. You were light skinned, you were nice looking, you were too nice, you were too young, too old, too smart. I'm always intimidated. And then they have these instigators now. I don't know if they're getting paid or what. I hope that the money's good. I don't know. Who are actually participating. I don't know. Maybe they're gang stalkers or something. I'm laughing because it's so stupid. And some of these people are black women. You will encounter these girls who believe that they're the mean girls, which is ha ha ha. Funny as I don't know what to me. But these are the things that your children are going through. And it's not bullying. People want to say it's bullying. It is based in racism, okay? The thing is, because you see black people participating, doesn't make it any less racist. It just makes it more racist. The whole concept of I'm going to ignore the fact that there's race doesn't mean that it's not based on that. So, that's what it is to get rid of both of you, but they're just choosing one who's insecure to do it. So, I just want to let you know because I don't, like I said, I don't want to rant. But it's frustrating to me when I see that people don't recognize that there is a hierarchy. These black men are still out there participating in sexism against black women. Still. And I'm like, are you crazy? It only hurts you. Stop saying the women's movement as if it's all the same. There's a black women's movement, there is a white women's movement. That's the reason why. Intersectionality started with black women. It was founded, the term was started by a black woman, and many of you don't know that. Those of you who do know that, you don't know the reason why. Because we were sexually harassed, because we basically can't go to court on both. And we can clearly see a black woman, you got a nice butt, or your hair is too wild, you must be wild and sexy, you're hypersexual towards all men you meet. Those things aren't directed at white women, they're directed at us. And if a black woman has, or excuse me, a white woman has a nice butt, has her hair wild, they don't say anything. Wow, you need to do your hair. Wow, she really looks nice today. Do you get that treatment? Ask yourself. Or do you get the Hottentot treatment? Saj Barton. Ask yourself. The next time it happens, I know what happens to you too, you just deny it. Because you're in denial. Ask yourself the next time, the next black woman, when she disappears, who cares? Who pays attention? Who goes to search for her? I want you to check on how many black women go to the site Black and Missing. There's one on Twitter, and she has a website as well, and find out how many black women are actually black and missing right now. How 50 to 80% of the posts are black women. Women. I want you to examine how sex trafficking has affected black women, and human trafficking is basically the start of all of that. And I want you to start understanding that it does affect you. I want you to start understanding that when police officers participate in these things by saying a rape or sexual assault of a black woman, because they do this in some states, was a robbery. Like, yeah, robbery of her life. Yeah, they think, oh, they were just robbers. They just happened to sexually assault her, and legally, they can get away with that. Filing as robbery. Sometimes they don't even list the sexual assault. And no, I'm not kidding. I am dead serious. You think about how much respect they give black women, and then you think about all this instigation between races and all these silly little people that are participating and how much credibility they have. You think about all the things we could have had, and black men are still blaming black women when we could have been working together. And working together doesn't mean reinforcing patriarchal privilege. It doesn't mean giving you white male privilege that you didn't get from white males. That's not what this means. This means equality. This means a relationship where we are equal. As they were originally in Africa, they were not in a patriarchal society prior to colonialism. So don't even believe that. That's bull. And those of you who don't believe we came from Africa, they definitely weren't like that in native communities. They were matrilineal. Yes, they did observe the matriarchy, and I am not afraid to say so. I believe that there is a matriarchal relationship that we are missing in our society today. I'm not saying worship women, but I'm saying you better give women their rightful place. What's causing this imbalance? Don't you agree? All this hatefulness. Can't you just feel it? The instigation of hate. Can't you feel that it's being planned? Can't you feel it? It's unnatural. And I appreciate those who are in good moods. It's the holidays or whatever. Wonderful. You're spending time with family if that's what you choose to make out of it. But again, understand some of Christmas. Again, I'm not trying to bring you down with philosophy, but just history. Charles Dickens, for those of you who don't know, created a Christmas Carol based upon, a fantasy. There was no before, England and Victoria. There was no Christmas tree. There was no Charles Dickens and all those things that are attached to Christmas now. There were some ancient traditions in Holland and other places where, they still have the infamous Zwart Piet, the blackface man who comes down the chimney with this white man who steals the children and the toys or whatever fantasy they come up with. But these things were myths, obviously, that were created in order to appease those who, brought them forth for whatever reason. Okay, there are several different theories out there about why they created them. Some of them relating back to the cosmic and their misinterpretation of spirituality. Okay, so I understand the spiritual origins of it, and we all know this is not Jesus' birthday or any crazy mess that they've made up. Those things don't even make sense. These dates were chosen for a reason. They were chosen because of the solstice. They were chosen because of the seasonal changes. They were chosen because they're sacred for other reasons. Okay. And over the years, the holidays have been changed and moved, and, you know, Thanksgiving is now Christmas, and they were kind of transversed a bit. So if you do your research, you'll figure that out. Okay. It doesn't take much. And I'm not trying to bring people down. I just want you to think, because it's time for you to start waking up and coming out of your funk, and you're not waking up. And I'm not supposed to help you. Okay. I'm really not. That's not my job here. But if you're sitting here violating the person, seriously, that is helping you, we're going to have a problem. Really, this is the person who is teaching you yes, I is, and you're teaching a college course, and is getting angry and attacks you because he wants to continue saying yes, I is. And I'm like, okay, say it if you want, but I'm just going to tell you that it's considered, you know, bad grammar, grammatically incorrect for you to say yes, I is. You can have any type of belief system that you want as long as it doesn't involve violence. And that's how don't really necessarily believe in religion, but spirituality, absolutely. As long as you're not hurting someone, wonderful. Be blessed. But I have a problem with the fact that once again, we're putting violence into patriarchy, which is also embedded in patriarchal religions, by the way. And that's what you need to understand. The lighting's not good here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off because, again, I don't want to rant. I'm looking tired. I am busted. You know, it's difficult on the weekends. Even sometimes I don't get sleep. So, I'm not couponing today for those of you guys who are in my group because I believe that there are several groups out there that's couponing with the calls. And, there's some people that just do it because of it's a family. But when we're dealing with understanding reality, this is one of the things I'm talking about. We should have more groups that work together, especially when women are oftentimes the heads of the family. And I don't care what you want to pretend. I told you what the statistics were. Way for a very long time. Okay. So when women are doing it, we need to be doing it together. We need to be working together. We need to make sure we have a sisterhood. There is no colorism in sisterhood. There's no jealousy. There's no immaturity. There's no sexism. There's no internalizing sexism, as some of you are doing. No internalization of sexism. Okay. It's very hard for me. I'm not going to teach a class, not for free anyway, because as I said, it's hard out here. I do, activist work, and I'd like to do more, but it's very hard when you're sitting here trying to do activist work and being patronized. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to see how I'm supposed to do this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully, we'll have more, and I'll be a little more working on it. Like I said, I used to do my websites all the time, but it's been just like crazy, mad, crazy, busy. You know, as I said, my son has autism, but I can handle a lot more than that. I could have another child if I wanted to. I'm just really I'm good at multitasking, but I like to do things as professional as possible. There's some things I want to work on with Indigenous women and Indigenous children and African American people and bringing us closer together because that's really important. And I think that that's a missing area and getting us closer to nature and getting us back to where we should have been before. And it sounds corny, but when you think about it, that's half of what we're missing. And I don't even know if half of what, probably like 80% of what we're missing. So yeah, that's my son's bike. So do you have something on that? Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I just wanted to say something quickly because it's just a mess. There's nothing that can be done to help people that don't want to help themselves. And if you believe that patriarchy is helping you, I mean, after this day and age, and I see all this really, I don't know, I don't want to call it fakeness, but I see all of this nonsense where people are hiding behind patriarchy again, and I'm just like, I don't know. I hope that it helps you. I agree. If you're in love, you're in love. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes for those of you who are in the African American community who may have been missing what's going on, where there's a lot of faking of relationships that have been done for centuries, really for money, but lately, definitely. And your so-called masculine man is really emasculated and trying to hide it. And now you're starting to take that anger out on women like we're supposed to make you look better. Please, because it makes gay men look bad too. When you pretend that you're not bisexual. I support people in the LGBTQI community because they come out and say who they are. And you can't hate people for doing that. If some of them are bigots or some of them are this way or that way, I don't get down like that. And I don't really care for anybody like that for obvious reasons. But if you really are just who you are, that's up to you. I mean, that's not intimidating me. I'm not at all intimidated by someone like that. At least they're honest. But if you're being dishonest, you're hurting other people because you're being dishonest. You wish you could date somebody else. You're angry because you're married and you don't want to be married and you're keeping up appearances. You're the neighbor next door. You're someone at, the person's job, or you're just intimidated by Black women, especially those who have indigenous roots, and you know who you are. It's time for that to stop. There's no one afraid of you, at least not in my life. And the only way that I can sit down here and tell you is to tell you like I'm telling you now. And it's been almost an hour, and I'm still telling you. This is the children of our, future here that are doing this. The gang violence is getting worse, and that's silly. That's another silly. I don't know why I think this is so silly, because I can clearly sit down here and see. The CIA instigated violence in Latin America and Central America. Now we're getting all this immigration because of the things they've done that is well documented. These are not conspiracy theories. These are textbook documentations of things they've done. They also have documented occurrences where they've actually entered the hood and they created, if not the gangs themselves, but the backdrops for gangs. It started with drug dealing, which they were involved in, and then they moved over to gang violence. It's where I think you understand. I know the young Black boys don't understand. At this day and age, and I'm just sitting here like, who in the world does not understand this? You are being used. It's really simple. Stop being used, figure out the game, and stop playing it. So anyway, I gotta go. Thanks for having me. I hope I did not rant, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I'm just trying to figure out how to get out alive. This is the first time. No, they don't want to see you. No, what I tell you. He runs out of here looking all kinds of crazy. Figure it out eventually. Connects me. Interesting.